Hi, you beautiful people in McGilligan and Hyde Park. My name is Fritzi Horstman, and I'm the founder of the Compassion Prison Project. And our mission is to create trauma-informed prisons and communities. A trauma-informed prison is a place where people understand what trauma is and what it does to the brain, body, and spirit, and why our behavior has been the way it has been, where we react, we're more reactive, we're more violent to ourselves and to others. And when we become trauma informed, we find ways so that we're more aware of our behavior, and we're more aware that trauma might be part of the reason why we're being mean to somebody, or why we're still addicted to something, or why we're not being the generous, loving people that we truly are. What I've come to understand about trauma is that in order to be violent, which is what we've learned as children is the solution, violence has been a solution to us. Just so you know, I've had a very traumatizing childhood as well. I didn't end up in prison, but I could have. And there were a few safeguards that happened during my journey that prevented me from going to prison. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. But when I found out I was traumatized, and that my behavior wasn't who I was, and then a month later I walked into a prison and I saw 100 incarcerated, beautiful men whose behavior wasn't who they were. And once I made that connection, I have dedicated my life to spreading trauma awareness to all prisons and incarcerated individuals in the United States, now in Northern Ireland, in Scotland, in New Zealand, through other states in the United States, besides California, which is where I live, and eventually throughout the world. It is my belief that you incarcerated individual, and maybe some of the officers and some of the staff that work at your prisons, it is my belief that you all have the ability to transform our society, because you understand who you are, where you've been, what happened to you. And when you heal this with vulnerability, forgiveness, and love, when you heal your trauma and you work on healing your trauma, you will bring this information back to your community. And when that happens, literally, we will transform the world together. So I invite you to participate in Trauma Talks and to give it your all. Make this time valuable, because this will change not only your relationships with your family and your community and the people in your prison environment, but this will transform your relationship with yourself, which is the starting place for all of this work. We have to start loving ourselves and stop betraying ourselves, right? Addiction is betrayal. Suicide is betrayal. Violence is betrayal. You know, when we're mean to somebody, when we're violent to somebody, we feel bad about that. We know deep down that we don't want to do that. But what happens is, because we feel so bad about ourselves, we justify our behavior. And that allows us to keep doing this, right? And the same mechanism goes with addiction, right? So we betray ourselves by getting a fix. I do it with coffee still sometimes, but I think that's okay for a little bit, at least until I get this program to a few more places, because I need some coffee. Anyway, I'm just being vulnerable here and truthful. So when we're addicted and we betray ourselves, right? Or when we break any promise to ourselves, like tomorrow I'm going to wake up and go running, right? And then we don't do it. We feel bad about ourselves. And so we must, first of all, be kind to ourselves, but we must fulfill our promises to ourselves. And it takes an act of will. It takes an act of rising to our own potential and possibility. And that's the work that we're going to do here. So we're going to stop betraying ourselves. We're going to stop betraying our families, stop betraying our communities, and when we stop all that energy gets freed up. So we're now able to help others instead of, living in this soup of shame, regret, betrayal, and living in the lower channels. Trauma Talks and the work we do together is going to move us to the higher channels. We are going to get in touch with our possibility and our vitality and our ability to really get busy. So remember today, when you start making promises to yourself, what you're doing, your discipline, right? Your discipline. I'm going to write today, or I'm going to exercise, or I'm not going to smoke a cigarette today. Whatever the promises are that you make, what happens is you're making an agreement to your future self, right? You're saying, today I am working towards my future. Today I am putting in the work it's going to take to get me to the places I need to get to. And by fulfilling your promises to yourself, you're leaving the lower channel and you're moving into the higher channels. And that's what I'm going to tell you. That's what Northern Ireland needs. Northern Ireland is in a state of apathy. And we need to change this energy. And you're the ones who are going to do it. There's nobody else who can do it because everybody's they're in their phones, they're in their bars, and they're betraying themselves, their communities, and their families. So you are the leaders. You are the leaders of tomorrow. So we need to get you in shape today so you can take on this task. And when you stop betraying yourself, that's when you're ready to leave prison. Because violence has been the solution. Betrayal has been the solution. And when we clean up our mess, we can help the world clean up its mess. And that's what's up today. So get into Trauma Talks. If I'm told you need more encouragement, I will be back. Or we could do a Zoom call, whatever it is. And I will be visiting in June. So I want to hear all the great things that you guys are envisioning and making happen. Because if you believe it, you can achieve it. So get out of your own way, get out of the way of changing the world, which means stop betraying yourself, stop being violent to yourself, and let's get busy because we've got a lot of work to do. You know it and I know it. And I believe in you and I believe in me. I know how glorious I am because I am just learning this every day of what's possible. And I know that's true for you. So let us all move into our glory and let's help Northern Ireland move into its glory, right? Let's make McGilligan and Hyde Park the most glorious places to be because everyone is keeping their word and not trying. We don't try anymore. We just do it, right? We just do it. I'm going to write a letter to my mother. We just do it. End of story. There's no like, but no more. No more victims here. We're no more victims. We're game changers. And so you're not going to get paid. No one's going to apologize to you. Get over it and let's get busy. Let's leave the lower channels, get into the higher channels, and literally we're going to change the world. Okay, I'll see you in June, and I might see you sooner. I love you. And as Mother Teresa said, if we have no peace, it is because we have forgotten that we belong to each other. So let's create peace in Northern Ireland. You're the ones who can do it. In fact, you're the only ones who can do it. So let's go.